name is Shannon Gilmore. Woo! How have you been today? Woo! It's been a good day, hasn't it? After that video today, that live, there's no going back, guys. There's no going back. God's word is living and true, and I am so excited because I'm feeling it. And I know you guys are too. I've been feeling God with me all day long. The joy of the Lord is my strength, and I'm just so joyful. And I have you guys to thank for that. I have God to thank for that. And that was just an amazing Bible study today. So if you guys have not listened to it, it's the Bible study on Psalms 69. And it's a pretty powerful scripture. So with that said, we're going to dive into unconditionally loving our egos. We're going to talk about unconditional love for the ego. This is a radical path to healing and wholeness. Now, we talked about in our Bible study today how the ego is our enemy. We're warring. Like, this is a war inside of us. Hello, Mr. Osgood. Nice to see you. Welcome. This is a war inside of us. And we have to be the soldiers. But the war has already been won. But we don't feel like it has been won because we don't feel the peace. Because what we learned is that the enemy within carries the spiritual, the spirit of the past, the spiritual egoic natures of our friends, family members, people who hurt us in the past. This is just demon attachments, if you will. Hello, Terry, nice to see you. Hello, Jeanette, nice to see you. Welcome, everyone. So you've been told to fight your ego, to shrink it. Hello, resistor, nice to see you. To shame it. We've been taught to shame it, to fight it, to resist it, to, kind of beat it into submission almost. And that's the conventional script out there, that we've got to unalive our egos. But today, no. The scripture that we learned from today, the Bible study today, just kind of rips the Band-Aid off of that. And we're going to talk about loving our ego unconditionally. Because when you give, like God tells us to not resist the enemy. Don't resist a fool, don't resist the enemy. And yeah, when you just sit there and you let somebody talk and you know that they're in their ego and you just let them talk, well, is it really a conversation that you need to be having? Is it worth your attention to have this conversation? Is it worth your time? Is it worth your energy? No. When you see somebody in their ego, you're not going to resist them. You're just going to be like, yeah, okay, cool. Right on, dude. Right on, sister. Whatever. You're going to respect them, but you're not going to engage in them. You're just going to like, oh my gosh. In your mind, you're going to be like, this makes no sense at all. I can't believe we're having this conversation. You know what? I'm just going to disengage because it's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. So when you see the ego coming out in somebody else, you just don't resist them. You don't engage. And that's the thing. When you're in unconditional love, you don't engage. You don't resist people. You just accept them you accept the stories that they tell. You're not in it to discover a lie, because it's like, you know what? You can't hurt me anymore. So, you know what? You keep on lying, because the lie just reveals to me that I can't trust you, that I can't, I can't rely on your word. So keep keep lying. Yeah, okay, there was an alligator that ate your homework. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you believe that. Well, you don't believe me? No, I believe that you believe it. That's how you answer that. I believe you believe it. And that's it. Argument's over. You're not fighting somebody with their ego. So today we're talking about loving your ego unconditionally. And yes, the ego is darkness, and love is light. And no, loving the ego unconditionally doesn't mean that we embrace it, we become friends, and we sing kumbaya. This ego is in us. It's been a part of us. It is a part of us. So it's in here. We've got to deal with it. We have to deal with it. And, you know, until it's fully dealt with, we've got to get along with it. So here's the first truth bomb that I want to share with you. Loving your ego doesn't make it disappear quietly. It doesn't sneak away like a polite ghost, boo, and goes away. No. Your ego actually gets louder. With the learning lessons we learned today in the Bible study, expect your ego to get louder and be aware of it so you can deal with it. Okay? It's going to get louder. It's going to thrash. It's going to scream. It's going to accuse. It's going to try to get you to go back to the way you used to be, you know, before we entered into the Bible study today. It's going to get you to falter. It's going to try to get you to doubt, kind of get you to lose your peace. But stay vigilant, stay steadfast, stay rooted in Jesus, because this unconditional love is unwavering. It's protecting. You're protecting your peace when you stand in love. And, you know, the ego is going to throw a temper tantrum that feels bigger than life because it's been hiding in the dark for so long. So you think you're gonna sit there and suddenly feel peace. No. Sometimes we feel chaos first, and that's normal. That's the secret nobody says out loud, that your ego loves drama, and it needs drama to feel alive. So it's going to create drama, and you might give into it, and that's okay, but just make sure you see it. So the next uncomfortable truth about this is your ego wants to be loved. But it can't accept love. See, going back to the Garden of Eden, the enemy was loved by God. So the enemy does know love, but it has forsaken it. Okay, if you guys have ever read the book of Enoch, the angels that Enoch talked to, the fallen ones, these angels actually asked Enoch to go and pray to God and ask on their behalf if God would reconsider and allow them to enter into heaven. And God said no. So this is serious, where the enemy knows love, but it can never return to love. It can never love again. It has its wings clipped, like God's told the enemy, you will crawl on your belly. So just because it wants to be loved doesn't mean it's seeking out love. And just because we love the ego or love our enemies doesn't mean that they will feel love and absorb it and have their come to Jesus moment. They're seeking love in attempts to not be destroyed. But they can't absorb it. That's why they gravitate to us, hoping that they can absorb love, but they can't absorb it. They've forsaken it. It's not in them to give, and it's not in them to feel. So the ego, we're like the scared child. Like in us, people call the ego the inner child, and that's a good way to explain it. But it's the natural, let's not forget, it's the natural nature of man, which is against God. No child is against God. So it may act like a scared child because that's the best, definition or that's the best that we can do in our understanding. But this is a character that is against God, the opposite of God. So the ego, the ego wants to have control, and it does have control. But let's look at, God is in control, but does God rage at us? Does God force us to do things? Does God tell us, you do this or else? No, but the ego comes in as a scary monster. See, the ego is more of an imp more than it's a child. It's terrified that you will ignore it, because if you ignore it, there is only one other way to live. If you're not living for the ego, if you're not listening to the ego, there is only one other way to live. Hello, Angela. Nice to see you. And that is to live for God. So when you finally, see, the ego doesn't mind us running away. The ego doesn't mind us running away from ourselves. The ego doesn't mind us running away from the ego itself, because we who are running away from the ego are scared of the pain, scared of the thoughts, scared of the feelings. And that gives the egoic nature a sense of power. But when we finally just face the ego, just get still and sit with those negative thoughts, those negative feelings, the rumination. You were here last night. Oh, we're not going to deal with that. So when we just sit quiet and face the ego, we stop being scared of our feelings. We stop being fearful of those ruminating thoughts of the coulda, woulda, shouldas, maybes. If this happens, then that will happen. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die. If we just stop and face the ego, just face it without judgment, we call it bluff. Like today, my ego wanted to get in there, and I was just so happy. And I said, you know what? Even if what I'm wanting to happen doesn't happen, that's okay. It eventually is going to happen. It's going to happen sooner or later, because I'm happy with God. I'm content with Him, and He's providing for me. So I'm good either way. Whether I get what I ask for today or tomorrow or next week or next year, it doesn't matter. I'm good either way. And that's the kind of, you know, that's kind of the way that we can approach the ego in these feelings. Yeah, okay, so what? I feel sad. So what? I feel abandoned. Am I abandoned right now? Okay, yeah, I knew my parents disowned me a long time ago, so that's nothing new. So this is just a feeling. But if I'm rooted and if you're rooted in the moment of now, are you abandoned? No, you're with yourself. You're self aware. The light inside of you cannot abandon you or forsake you. So you're good. So it's like, yeah, okay, ego, you're trying to make me feel scared and worried and abandoned and alone and afraid. And I'm none of this in this moment of now because I'm feeling pretty content right now. What's your problem? So when you face your ego and you look at it without judgment, you are facing it with unconditional love and you're saying, I see you. I see the tantrums. I see the lies. I see it all. And you don't get to control me anymore. But I'm not going to abandon you. Ooh, that's revolutionary. It shakes everything inside of you. It makes the ego quake. Because what's it going to do? What's it going to do? Call me every name in the book, ego. I don't care. Tell me you hate me. Yeah, okay, I believed it and it was painful, but I don't have to believe it anymore. I choose not to believe it. Because my God is bigger. My God is Jesus Christ and he died on the cross for me. So he died so that I didn't have to deal with all this pain. So why are you here? Why are you here? Well, I'm here because of your mom. I'm here because of your dad. I'm here because of your teacher. Yeah, well, where are they? They've probably moved on right now. They've probably moved on and probably forgot me. How could I be such a significant person in their lives when this, trauma happened 15, 20 years ago? So why are you here, ego? Why? And your ego's like, we gotta survive to keep this alive. I matter, damn it. Like, we gotta have conversations with the ego like this. Like, did we do a video last week on, or maybe it was this course that I'm working on. I'm getting so much mixed up here, but it's okay. Jesus was in the desert, and when the devil came, we think it was a demon with horns and a pitchfork and red and long tail. And no, that devil represented our ego. And 3 times the ego came to Jesus and said, turn these stones into bread, throw yourself off this cliff. Worship me and I'll give you all the kingdoms. And 3 times Jesus answered, it is written. So there's our fail-safe. Whenever we're becoming overwhelmed, we're feeling depressed, we're feeling anxious, we start triggering, we start feeling sad, alone, afraid. Well, guess what? We've got the Bible. It is written. It is written that man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. So that's how we combat the ego. We love ourselves and love our ego enough to educate the ego on the Lord. But see, the ego is the characteristic of the enemy, and light shines in the darkness. And where does the darkness go? It goes into its place of obscurity. It's nowhere to be seen. So you bask in the presence of the Lord with his word, and you're going to find peace. You're going to find peace. So here's truth number 3. Loving your ego unconditionally will obliterate your fake identities. See, what I mean by unconditionally loving your ego is to stop judging it. Stop calling it names. Why are you doing this to me, ego? You're such an a-hole. Stop allowing yourself to be terrorized by the ego and hold no judgment. Just forget about it. We often do. When we start feeling better about ourselves, do we remember, oh yeah, I remember the ego yesterday had me in a full-blown temper tantrum. Oh my gosh, I don't want to have that happen again. So I'm going to have to try to do this and do this and do this to prevent it. No, we don't think like that. It just happens and we let it go. We forget about it. And that's unconditional love. We're keeping no record of wrongs. So why are we keeping record of wrongs about the past? If we're going to keep record of what happened to us, then shouldn't we be keeping record about what the ego does to us every moment of the day? Because the egoic nature is from the past. And they're still with us. It's still with us. So if we're going to call one thing into account, shouldn't we call everything into account and keep that record? Hold on to it like for dear life, and hold the ego to the fire, to the fire, and blame the ego for everything that's gone wrong in our lives? No, we don't. We don't do that. So loving your ego unconditionally, you already do. You just don't notice it. But now that you're self-aware, you're not looking at the ego. You don't look at, oh, gee, I was jealous yesterday, or my ego really had a jealous streak and, had me exercise a jealous streak yesterday. Whoa, my goodness. Or, I was really tormented with sorrow 5 days ago, a week ago. Like, oh my gosh, I was overwhelmed. The ego really, really is like, controlling my feelings here. Or, the ego really had me feel resentment yesterday, like, or today, oh my gosh, the ego just had me feeling like I was a worthless piece of garbage and I felt unworthy, and I just was crying to God because even I felt God wasn't around. We don't talk, I don't talk like that. It's like when we feel these feelings, we feel them and then we let them go. And then we feel better. So we're already unconditionally loving, but we're unconditionally loving our ego from a place of mindlessness, where we're not mindful that we have a choice, that, oh, my ego's trying to get me to feel like I'm just a nobody again. Well, no, not going to happen. We've given you lots of steps on this channel to help you through, and probably on the other channels that you visit too. You've got a lot of information. So every persona that you've built to feel safe, gone. Every mask you wore to impress, the people-pleasing, the enabling, the walking on eggshells, all those masks are going to go. They're going to be exposed. And you're going to feel vulnerable. You're going to feel exposed. And that's what really hurts, because it's not what you're used to. And, it might feel like a death. It might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so exposed. People are going to notice. But it's just the death of the fictional story that you've been living under. And yet, underneath, it's still you. You're real, unshakable, unflinching. Like, you're going to look back and you're going to think, on this moment, or, you're going to think back on your life and you're going to recognize that, okay, that's still me back there in the past, but I'm so different. So this is about identifying your ego, what it is, okay? Write this down if you want to, or, sit down with a pen and paper and brainstorm. What is the ego? Psychology tells us, it's a part of our inner child, and it's, unhealed. Well, you know what? No. No, I'm going to say that, as God says, it's the natural nature of mankind. It is the narcissist. It's the narcissistic nature. But not only that, it's the characteristic of the enemy. So yes, there is fear. It's all the characteristic of the enemy is rooted in fear. It's the exact opposite of who God is. It's the Antichrist nature. And churches have taught us to fear evil, fear the devil, fear the Antichrist. Well, that's not godly. It is not godly. It's not does God fear the enemy? Does God fear any of his enemies? Did God fear Nebuchadnezzar? Did God fear Goliath? Absolutely not. So why would God fear the spiritual angels who fell from heaven and decided to have earth as their home? God doesn't fear anybody. And we are to adopt the character of God, so we are not to fear anybody. So understand the character of your ego. Your ego, every feeling that you feel, every negative feeling that you feel is rooted in fear. Jealousy, anger, animosity, even gossip. It's all a form of judgment. Resentment, feelings of abandonment, feelings of being alone, feelings of feeling rejected. These are all rooted in fear. And fear judges. Fear naturally judges. So talk to your ego like it's a kid caught stealing. Don't shout at it. Don't lecture. Don't moralize. Just see it. I saw what you did, ego. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me to lose my faith in Jesus. I'm choosing to stand on the rock of God. I'm choosing to stand on this hill and die on it. Write down every lie, every tantrum, every accusation it hurls at you. Those inner thoughts that have you make those negative I am statements. Then respond like a parent who sees through the tantrum. I see you. I know you're scared, but acting like that is not going to get my attention. So you can sit here and we can wallow. I can cry it out with you, but that's not going to solve the problem. We got to work together to solve the problem. And so I need you to be quiet so I can solve the problem. And you can actually tap into your spirit nature instead of, you know, the ego is attached to your fleshly nature. So tap into the spirit nature and tell your ego directly. Imagine that you are the spirit. Your awareness is spirit. That's who's talking to you right now, is my awareness. And when you tap into your awareness and the unconditional love that emanates from it, you're not judging, and you're just, this is what I'm going to do. I'm making an executive decision. I am not going to cry anymore. I'm not going to eat my feels anymore. I'm not going to give in to anger anymore. I'm not going to feel lonely and afraid anymore. We're not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I am not listening to the ego anymore. And when the ego brings up these feelings of doubt and shame and fear, yeah, you can feel them. You're going to feel them. Your body's going to feel them. But that's why we do breathing exercises. I am safe. I am okay. Everything goes my way. Everything goes in my favor because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. See, we're only supposed to suffer for a little while until our faith is complete. So here's another thing, the hack number 2. When you start controlling your ego, make your shadow, that's your ego, do something sacred. You know, your darkest impulses, the anger, the jealousy, the envy, they don't have to destroy you. Pair them with, I don't know, some sort of action. Like when anger rises, light a candle. When jealousy hits, ground yourself, go for a walk barefoot in the grass. Let your darkness meet presence. Let your destructive urges, the anxiety, the depression, the fear, the doubt, let these destructive behaviors and feelings meet ritual instead of chaos. Control yourself. It's about self-control. You're rewiring your brain's wiring in real time so it doesn't always get that dopamine fix. Hurt people. Yes, jealous people are very dangerous. Yes. So hack number 3, steal your ego's power by exaggerating its lies out loud. When the inner voice says, you're worthless, don't whisper and say, oh, yeah, I feel worthless today. No. Just don't even nod. Just say it like it's absurd. Oh, so I'm cosmically worthless? Like, I've got the bankrupt soul here? Like, I'm the universal failure? Like, really? Like, how does that compute? Laugh it out loud. Like today, like I said, my ego was trying to haunt me, but no, I just laughed it out. I just like, this is ridiculous. You know what? You can try to prevent, you know, God giving his gift to me, but you know what is coming sooner or later. So you can either, you know, enemy, you have stolen from me, so you can either give to me now or give to me later. The choice is yours. I really don't care. But eventually you have to, it's inevitable. You have to give back to me what you've stolen. So you can choose to give it to me now or later. But you know, if you choose later, I'm still not going to give in. I'm not going to rage. I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait. Because, you know, guys, I'm at the point where I feel done. I feel like we all are at the point where we are done. There's no reason for us to live in the past anymore. There's no reason for us to give into this negativity anymore, because it serves no purpose. It's pointless. It doesn't serve us. Jesus died on the cross so we didn't have to feel this. And unfortunately, people didn't tell us right away at the beginning of our lives and teach us the cross of Christ properly. So it's taken us a while to figure this out. But I'm done. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to accidentally whoopsie doopsie, cater to my ego now and again, but so far, and I'm not bragging, and I just want to give this to God, because I feel like it's just the lesson's over. Like, what else is there except to just put all this stuff into practice and live according to his word? That's it. That's all God wanted us to do, is listen to his voice, not the voice of the enemy. So, laugh out loud, like, because what the enemy tries to give to you now, after all that you've unpacked, all this learning that you've uncovered, like all this, the lies, the fear, the jealousy, the everything, like the judging, like it makes no sense anymore. How does hanging on to resentment and filtering the resentment through, of seeking revenge on the narcissist who hurt you, how does that serve you? It just keeps you further from your inheritance, the kingdom glory. And it's like, no, we're here tapping into our divinity so we can exorcise demons, cast, heal the sick, raise the dead, do these miracles to, protect, serve, protect, and defend. And it's like, if there were people who were walking in their kingdom inheritance when we were meeting the narcissist or before, we would have been protected. There would have been people out there protecting us. But that didn't happen, and we're it. So it's time to take the leash off of yourself and just allow your soul to shine, allow your soul to sing. Anytime you feel upset, you're just a choice away from making a better decision. You don't have to feel upset just because someone is telling you, you better shape up or else you're going to get fired. You better do this or you're going to lose this. You better do. You know what? You do what you got to do, but don't cater to that. Don't cater to somebody else's. Somebody else just being a meanie, a mean person so that they can get their way. That's all that is. If we're not dealing with our egos, we're dealing with somebody else's ego. You better ship up or else I'm leaving. Well, I am who I am, so I'm not going to change myself anymore just to serve the narcissist to ensure that they don't leave me. You know what? Leave. I really don't care. Leave. God will take care of me. If I fall down on my face, I fall down on my face. I will get back up, because what we learned this afternoon in our live for our Bible study, this isn't our first freaking rodeo. We've been riding that bull. It's been a lifetime of riding that bull. We've got stones. We've got, we have been doing this. And we're not giving up. We're not, the ego continues to try to, hang on, I gotta adjust my little pad on my seat here. The ego tries to, maybe it thinks that, okay, well, if I make this, if I have Shannon ruminating on this again, and maybe if I have her feeling like a piece of crap tomorrow, and I hit her with, she loses this thing and she gets bad news here, bam, 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 you know, maybe this time she'll just curse God and die. Not gonna happen. We've been through this for our lifetimes already. We've been through this. And the ego is never going to give up, and we're never going to give up on God. So this is where it's just coming to a head. Like, it's now that we see this, it's like, I've made my decision. It's God. It always has been God, and you've made your decision. It's been God all along because God made you. You're just now self-aware. The scales are off your eyes and it feels good. So own the truth that the ego has been lying and you're done believing it. That's ultimately what it boils down to. We're not believing the lies anymore. And it's, breaking the brainwashing. Now, loving your ego unconditionally isn't about peace. This is warfare, but it's wrapped up in compassion. It's discomfort delivered with grace. It's chaos meeting clarity. It's the light forcing the shadows to dance. And it's in that dance something miraculous happens. You realize the darkness wasn't your enemy. Like the darkness has made you its enemy, but you're not the enemy of the darkness, because you can't hate anything really, because of your unconditional love. Your unconditional love allows, the spirit realm and people to be who they need to be. So, and here's the thing about this is that, like, I kind of lost my thought here, and I'm sorry because I was going somewhere with it, but I'm just like, don't you guys feel like a little bit, not a little bit, a lot more mature? Like, it just feels like this is what awakening is all about. You're just awakened to self. You're awakened to the spirit realm. You're choosing to live a different lifestyle, like a spiritual life, instead of just giving yourself over to your feelings. You're taking control. This is what it means to live in self-control. And it's just it feels good. Like, it feels right. Whereas there, when we gave ourselves over to our egos, and we, cried and begged and take this away from me. Like 2 months ago, I was like begging God because my freaking these thought attacks, negative thoughts, and I'm just like so trying to fight it and stand against it, pacing my room, just feeling under attack. And it's all it requires is a choice. And I just like said to God out loud, I want only the thoughts that you want me to think. I don't want any other thoughts. I only want the thoughts that you want me to think. And boom. Like, God always answers. And it's just amazing, because loving your ego unconditionally isn't about making friends with it. It's about understanding it so that you can understand your choice to either live under the ego's control or live free from it and live under the protection of God's love. By making the choice to control yourself according to his word. So if you're sitting there thinking that you need to fight your ego, you're already missing the point. This dark night of the soul, it is a fight, but that's because that's what we assume we must do. Because the community that talks about the dark night of the soul, they're not tapped into God. They don't go to God through the cross of Christ. They avoid all of that. So they say we must struggle. And yes, there is a struggle. It is. Like, look at David today in scripture. He struggled. Job struggled. Like, yes, the struggle, but the struggle produces our faith. The struggle strengthens our faith. So understand, when a boxer gets in the ring, you're training and to see your opponent's jabs and watch his footsteps and see where he sways and float like a butterfly, stink like a bee kind of thing, right? Left, right, uppercut. So it's like, that's what this is. It's like we're trying to avoid the jabs of the ego. And we're trying to spy how the ego operates. Okay, this is gonna upset the apple cart. This is gonna upset the ego. I'm bracing for it. And instead of jabbing back, we just move out of the way. We brace, protect ourselves, but we move out of the way, And how we do that is with unconditional love. We don't give the ego an argument. And when you walk in unconditional love, you are actually giving no room for your ego to be even made known to you. When you walk in unconditional love for all things and all beings and all situations, and you just stop looking at things from a judgmental perspective, and instead something comes your way that is not to your liking, instead of saying, I hate that. Why is this not fair? Just grow from it. What is this negative situation trying to share with me? How can I learn from it? How can it help me grow? Because God even says, even God uses the negative, the enemy, for good purposes. And so God tells us that he makes us the head, not the tail, and we have authority over snakes and scorpions. We have authority over the serpentine characteristic within us, the egoic nature. We have authority. We just didn't know. And how you take authority is to love. Love it by just accepting it. You are who you are. I don't want any part of you. I don't want to listen to you anymore. I don't want to listen to you anymore, ego, and I don't have to. So we have incredible power over vibrational frequencies and feelings. It's a choice, exactly. You need to stop thinking about negative things that could happen. When you listen to music and feel your feelings, you can stop your inner chat. Says yes. Oh, you're talking to yes. Yes says, been so defensive. I just keep thinking. Then mine goes 12 directions when I want to start spiritual practice again, or what to do, or breathe properly, process the stuck energy so I can express joy. Well, just think of a happy thought. What brings you joy? What have you experienced that brings you joy? Has somebody given something to you? Have you given something to somebody else? Was it, a child, your child being born? Was it, passing your SATs? Was it, passing your driver's license? Was it taking the vacation of your dreams? Or is that what you want? Think about what you want. Maybe taking a vacation of your dreams, maybe that, just think about that. Go look on YouTube or on the internet and go grab some pictures, and just don't think about, oh, I can't afford it. Just imagine what it would be like sitting on the beach. Or maybe you're not a beach bum. Maybe you like to go to Colorado and ski the mountains there, Okay, so whatever is your fancy. There is no shortage of joy. There is no shortage of joy on this planet. I have I have experienced a sunrise overlooking Niagara Falls from a hotel room. I think it was like the 13th floor. And I still have it in my mind, and it brought me to tears because I've never seen the sun from that height before. And it was just over the trees, the sun was glowing, the sky was like it was on fire, and it was just a different perspective. And I was just like in awe. And I'm just like, God, you made this? Like, my mind just ignored all the buildings, and I just saw the trees, and I just saw the clouds, and I just saw the sun in its silence, looking at the window. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that just set my day. And I personally I love going to the beach and seeing the setting sun. And even in the noonday, just sitting on the beach, riding with the sun glistening on the calm blue water. It's just, and the seagulls are around, and it's just, everybody's at work. It's on a weekday, kids are at school. So the beach is to myself, and it's just like, oh my gosh. I was visiting an area of the beach, Lake Ontario, here in Canada, in Ontario. And I actually made friends with a swan. A male swan, his female was missing for a while. She died or something. But he was hanging around, and people would, get close, but he wouldn't let people get close to him. And so I have a video of this, that I actually made him some flatbread, some whole wheat flatbread, and I fed it to him, and he took it, and I felt his beak on my hand, and he was just so gentle. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like, this beautiful swan, who can be like, these creatures can be dangerous as heck. They can break your arm or leg. Just them flapping their wings, like they can really do damage to you. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then the one time I was sitting on the beach on a piece of wood and just sitting there alone with my thoughts, and I saw him come swimming up, and he's all of a sudden he makes sure, and he comes walking right by me. It's like I was this far away from him. I didn't touch him, but I was this far. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because these are the moments that give you the wow. The wow, like a child, the experience of wow. And that's what engages your joy. Find something in your life that lights you up again. Find something in your life. Hi, Frank, nice to see you. Find something in your life that just that is special for you. Who cares what other people think? Go make mud pies in the, you know what? I, in fact, might do a video and just make mud pies for you guys in the backyard. Just because we can, you know? Yeah, you gave the bird the communion wafer. Yeah, exactly. No, that was just a special moment, man. And I was at a low moment of my life. I was dating somebody and we broke up, and that was just, that was a very special moment in my life, and I just never want to forget it. And just find something that disengages your ego. Just do something for you. Just do something that brings you joy. And it doesn't have to be big or small. Go, I don't know, go build sandcastles. Go make snow angels in the snow. Like a couple of weeks ago, when I go for my walks, I walk by a schoolyard. And this was Sunday afternoon. And I noticed there was chalk, like the school kids had chalk, and there was chalk on the sidewalk, like the, sidewalk chalk, just clumps of it, like just broken pieces. So I took some and I actually gave myself a half an hour and I wrote some things, some nice messages for these kids, and did a hopscotch, and, gave them a question, and, left a blank answer so that they could answer it, and then, write the answer backwards so that they'll have to, just think about it and, figure it out on their own. And I, just gave them some puzzles and tongue twisters, and, it was just a happy moment for me to give back, because it's just like, I'm a homeschooling mom. So I've homeschooled, so I'm always going to be a homeschooling mom. I love to teach, but that's the thing. Like, just do something. That chalk was just sitting there and people were stepping on it and it was crushing, getting crushed up. So I took some pieces and I put them to good use. And, I told the kids, I wrote a little note that said, you're loved, and smile because you're loved, and your smile means everything. And, I wanted to just pass along some feel good messages, and you can do that too. Go grab some sidewalk chalk, write a note on the sidewalk for some kids when they're going to school. Or maybe, there's some people along your route that you see walking their dogs. Send a private message to them, leave it anonymous. Like, just tap into your childlike nature. And that is what engages your joy. So breakups really suck. They are probably the most devastating feeling to me anyway. Everything else I'm able to handle. Yeah, exactly. They do suck, because unconditional love, there is no breakup when you're in unconditional love. But again, like we talked about, I think it was yesterday afternoon, that, relationships, we've been taught that relationships are, I love you for what you give to me. Like, I love you because you make me feel good. And I enjoy your company because your company makes me feel a certain way. But that's not how relationships are really supposed to go. It's, I have all this love in me to give, and I want to share it, and I want to be able to offer you my love. And how I offer you my love is to tap into your love language and offer you my love according to how you can receive it, because I want you to feel good. I'm already feeling good. I've got all this love in me to give. I don't need to feel good. But if you want to give to me, sure, I'll receive it. But who I am is not determined by your acceptance of me. Who I am is determined by my acceptance of myself and how I treat myself. So I'm here to pick up the slack when you can't love yourself enough on those days that you're having bad days. I'm here to fill in for you. I'm your backup. I'm here to fill in for you. That's what love is. Love is unconditional, and no matter the lack of love or the little bit or the freaking, maybe you've got so much. Oh, thank you, Frankie. Thank you for that. That's so sweet. Thank you. That's a nice super chat. Thank you. Or super. That's a gift. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, it's like no matter how much love or lack thereof that somebody else has to give or can give you, it doesn't matter. You're accepting and receiving it as it comes anyways. You're just appreciative of it. And the love that someone has to give you and the love that you have to give to someone else, it enhances the individual. The love that we receive from people, it's supposed to help us, it strengthens us. It helps us become more confident, but also there is supposed to be conflict. The conflict in a relationship is to help us grow and see the other person's perspective and get rid of the judgmental attitude. So when, two people are married and they're judging each other, well, they're not united. They're unevenly yoked. They're not acting as one. So I think narcissism and relationships with narcissists can teach us how to properly manage ourselves and properly love ourselves and love other people. Because if we can give our all to the narcissist, we certainly can give our all to other people. And, the narcissist was just training ground for the person that God has us. Like God was preparing our hearts so that we could accept, our brothers and sisters in the Lord, because we've learned to accept that when someone hurts you, yeah, with the narcissist, it's on purpose, but with our brothers and sisters in the Lord, it's not on purpose. We can understand, okay, they're dealing with their ego, and that's who we're dealing with. Their ego hurt us, but it wasn't them. They didn't do it on purpose. It's because they're not, they're still in their ego. They're still working it out. They're still, striving to love themselves correctly. Whatever they're going through, they're still working it out. So I got enough love in me to give to this person and give to whoever, and I'm okay because I'm okay with myself, and I totally understand. That's what narcissism has given us. That's what loving the narcissist has given us. All this understanding to understand that everybody has a freaking ego. Everybody has an ego. And we're going to deal with that and see that as people are going to see our egos from time to time. But we're working it out to do better and be better. So just think about this. God says that we shall not be unevenly yoked. What does unevenly yoked mean? Well, if somebody has laid down their ego and the other person has not, what does that make? A one-sided relationship. Been there, done that with the narcissist, right? So we help our brothers and sisters or our significant other. We help them to lay down their ego. We open the lines of communication. We talk it out. We get vulnerable with each other. And we allow people to become vulnerable with us. We don't shy away from those uncomfortable conversations. And speaking of conversations, if you guys want to get in on a one-on-one conversation with me, the link is in the description of this video, as I am a peer support mentor and I'm here to support you and help you talk it out and work it out. If you've got something going on in your life that you are struggling with, I'll help you find a different perspective, and we'll consult God together and maybe do a Bible study or just talk. And talking does help you feel better. So there you go. So my future husband do same with me. When we met, I was on a rehab of alcohol. Yeah. So that's awesome. Awesome. Hello, Jesus loves you. How are you doing? John 3:16, for God so beloved, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Amen to that. Hi Larry, how you doing? Hello, Lapo? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. But hi everyone, how you doing? How's everyone doing? Thanks for coming in on this video. So yeah, like if you guys, those of you who are new, we've been getting deep, spiritually deep on this channel to help ourselves unpack the ego. And tonight, it's just kind of an offshoot of what we learned about today in our Bible study and what we were talking about last night about the ego. And unconditionally loving our ego is to stop judging ourselves, to stop judging the ego, just accept that the egoic nature is the natural tendencies of mankind that God tells us. There's a duality in us, the desire to do good, but also the desire to do evil, the curiosity to do evil. We have a desire to be good, but we have this curiosity to just tap into the no-no zones and do what we want to do outside of God's grace. And the ego will help us with that, because the ego is the characteristic of the enemy. And the ego is willing to oblige us and hold our hands, even carry us into over the threshold of the no-no zones of life. So we're kind of taking a look at ourselves here and embracing self-awareness and taking our stand. That we are walking in self-control and monitoring, and we're monitoring the ego. We are being mindful of our feelings and those thoughts and making proper choices. There is no such thing as I don't have a choice, I didn't have a choice. There's no such thing as that. As there is no such thing, no more. We can no longer say, I don't know. Why'd you do that? I don't know. Yeah, we do know. Our ego is just doesn't want to answer, but we do know. We know why we do things. There's no excuse anymore. And I feel as of late that the scales have been lifted off our eyes. So yes says, I love God's grace. It's easy living and all the synchronicities, openness, wonder in everything. What I am doing is not that. It's hard and small. I'm scared. Oh, I get you. I feel you. I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah. And keep going. Like, keep striving, because you're getting there. I feel that. I sense that. I was actually thinking about that today. Like, wow, from being a scared individual 2 months ago, just wrestling with the negative thoughts in my mind and just calling out loud in the darkness of my bedroom, God, stop these negative thoughts. They're of evil. I don't want them. And I was saying, probably I think 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm just like, God, stop this. I don't want to think anything bad. I only want to think about good thoughts. I only want to think about what you want me to think about. And I was adamant about it. And today I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about what your statement. I was just thinking about myself and how difficult it is. This isn't easy, but God calls us to become overcomers. All we need to do is walk with courage, as Jesus says. Look in the back of your concordance. Jesus says this multiple of times. Take great courage. Just stand in courage. If it's just one small step of saying, no, I'm not going to think that thought today. No, I'm not going to tell myself I'm a loser today. No, I'm not going to cry today because I'm not going to give in to the thoughts of the past today. Yes, I am going to think good thoughts for myself. Yes, I'm going to think about my future today. Yes, I'm going to feel joy today. That's all it takes, and just stand in that and allow yourself to be scared. And be aware that you're scared. Give it a voice. I feel scared today. I feel like I am just, riding on a roller coaster, riding on rails without brakes. Oh my gosh, God help me. Call it out. And I don't know how to deal with this. So you know what? I'm just going to lay this down and I'm going to do my best to think about a happy thought. Think about something happy. Think about something that, pleases you. Maybe you just had a grandbaby. I'm going to think about my grandbaby today. So, no for the negative, yes for the positive. Amen. It's actually much worse than that, but yes, says Poe. Hello, Poe. How you doing? Would you, whoa. Would you prefer a rich man or a humble man who is poor? What do you think? Humble is more hard to be. It's actually much worse than that, but yes. Wow. Yeah, it's, I'm 23, Lepo says. Oh, I'm 22 years old now. I can drink a little, but I've to be sure to not. Intrigue is a dangerous vibrational frequency. Okay, so you guys are talking amongst yourselves here, so I'm all alone except my dogs. Aw, dogs are awesome. Excuse me. Dogs are awesome. I love dogs. I love animals. Dogs are guardian angels. They really are. They teach us about unconditional love, and they teach us about ourselves. So, yeah, I'm a fan of dogs. Not their yip-yappy nature, but yeah, they're pretty decent animals. They're, man. And I was just reading, I think it was on X tonight, I was reading that there's new science that shows that a dog, there is really something special, because a dog is excited when you come home, and a dog is like, we think, oh, they just love me because I give them treats. But no, actually, there was brain scans done on the dog. I'll have to find this article again. But there was brain scans done on dogs, and they actually do feel love. They actually feel love for us. When they see us and they stare at us and they wag their tail, they are feeling love inside, like it's like deep in their brain. So I'll try and find this article because it was a really interesting article of that dogs are capable of feeling love, and they feel this unconditional, this strong love for us, for their family. So yeah. Hi Nafel, how you doing? Nice to see you. So guys, you guys want to, I know it's Sunday night, and you guys probably want to get off to bed. Dogs are a vibrational ringing bell. Oh, interesting. So do you guys want to read some scripture with me? Okay, I just turned to 1 Kings chapter 19. Elijah flees to Horeb. Now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. So Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah to say, "May the gods deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like that of one of them." Elijah was afraid and ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. And wilderness, just like how Jesus went into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. "I have had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life. I am no better than any ancestors." Then he lay down under the bush and fell asleep. And all at once an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." He looked around, and there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time and touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." So he got up and ate and drank. Strengthened by the food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. And the word of the Lord came to him. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great and powerful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. Kind of reminds us of how the egoic nature acts with us. And after we get still and quiet, then God talks to us. So after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled his cloak over his face and went down out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too." The Lord said to him, "Go back the way you came and go to the desert of Damascus. When you get there, anoint Hazael king over Aram. Also anoint Jehu son of Nishmi king over Israel, and anoint Elisha son of Shaphat from Abel Meholah to succeed you as prophet. Jehu will put to death any who escape the sword of Hazael, and Elisha will put to death any who escape the sword of Jehu. Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal and whose mouths have not kissed him. So Elijah went from there and found Elisha, son of Shaphat. He was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen, and he himself was driving the 12th pair. Elijah went up to him and threw his cloak around him. Elisha then left his oxen and ran after Elijah. Then left his oxen and ran after Elijah. Let me kiss my father and mother goodbye, he said, and then I will come with you. Go back, Elijah replied. What have I done to you? So Elisha left him and went back. He took his yoke and oxen and slaughtered them. He burned the plowing equipment to cook the meat and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he set out to follow Elijah and became his servant. There's lots to unpack in this study. Maybe we'll do that next Sunday. Oh my goodness. I'm going to write this down. 1 Kings 19. There's a lot to unpack. Hello, yes. Aw, you're a member. Welcome to Breathing in Meditations. Woo. Thank you so very much for your membership. I hope you enjoy the meditations, and there's more to come. More to come, so welcome. Welcome to the family, everyone. This channel, we grow. This channel, we look at psychology, we look at science, we look at the Bible, because it's about understanding who we have been to understand who we are. And you can't get from point A to C without going through point B. So we've got to go through the trenches. We got to go through all of this stuff. And when you're healing, when you're healing, you really understand that the trouble, the trials, the tribulations, they were not in vain. They were not in vain. Well, thank you. Yes. I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much. Resistor said a while ago that it's fun healing, or something along those lines. And where we're at now, like I'm feeling like the joy of the Lord. Like I feel like the curtain has been opened, and we've let the sunshine in and shining on the negativity of our hearts and minds, and we can finally breathe again, and we can just finally look at that sunshine. What a glorious day. And it's been so negative for a while, and and it feels good when God just shows up and shows us his peace. As we learned in our Bible study, that when you feel peace, it's because God has heard your prayer. But he hasn't just heard it, he has answered it. Because what comes after war? Peace. So the war has already been won in the spirit. And so you're given peace because the war has already been won. So you get to shout, you get to rejoice. You just have to yet experience it. And you're already experiencing the peace before the results are shown to you. So I research everything that can make me better. Awesome, resistor. Yeah. So everyone, I want to say thank you so much, and thank you for your donations. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And your memberships and your help to this channel. You guys can donate to PayPal, as that helps me to pay my bills immediately, like my rent. But if you guys want to support this channel, just consider making a prayerful donation. Support this channel by liking this video, subscribing if you can, and you know, meet me back here tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. And we will dig into it. We will, we'll just freaking expose the ego. That's what we're doing lately, exposing the ego and hammering it out and feeling good about ourselves while doing it, getting rid of this negativity. It feels so good. It feels really, really, really good. And I'm happy that you guys are doing this with me. I wouldn't want to do it by myself. And I'm just so blessed to know you guys, not to know you guys. You guys are amazing. So keep at it. And God bless you. God bless you. To become a member, hi Ashes, become a member. You can click the membership link at the channel, like the channel itself, like where you see the name and you see the write-up and all the links and stuff. There's a link there for membership. So hi Joe, I was thinking about you. Where have you been? How you doing? It's Joe. Hi. Welcome. It's nice to see you. So if you don't see the link, you can send me just an email at shannongilmore@protonmail.com, and I will send you the link to become a member. So yeah. So I'm just gonna check and see. Give Joe a minute to just say hi to everybody before we sign off. And so I'm just gonna check and see if I've missed any of your chats. Okay. Yeah. If you feel your love is the one, you follow your feeling. This is Lepo. Well, God does tell us that the heart deceives us. So I would recommend that you really get to know somebody, because you can't get to know them just in a few months' time. Give yourself at least, I'd say at least a year. Your feelings might be developing sooner than that, and that's fine. But don't really make a real heart-hitting conclusion until you've given it, give yourself some time to actually go through problems with this person, or give yourself an opportunity to observe them while they're going through problems. Because when you see somebody go through problems like stress, you'll know what you're getting into, and you'll see the true nature bubble to the surface. So yeah, just give it some time. So what else? I think that's about it, guys. Yeah. Oh, we've had some trolls here. Whew. So. Oh no, you're entitled to watch your movie. We just missed you. But it's good to see you. It's good to see you, Joe. So everyone, it's 11:30 and it's a Sunday night, so you guys probably need to get some shut-eye and go to sleep. So I want to say thank you everyone for joining me on this channel tonight. This has been good, as this was just kind of just working it out, a segue from today's Bible study. If you haven't checked out today's Bible study on the Psalm 69, I encourage you guys to do so because it was pretty awesome. Lots of insight there. So join me here tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow. And loves to everyone. God bless. And links are in the description of this video if you guys want to find me or talk one-on-one. You know what to do. Hello, Ravi. Hello from India. Nice. Hello and good night from Canada. Nice to see you all, and join me here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock in the evening, tomorrow, every day on the daily. Good night, everyone. Sweet dreams and God bless.